Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through stacks of information, really, to pull out the key insights that help you get genuinely well-informed fast. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating principle. It comes from maybe a surprising source, this idea that anger, emotion generally, it's strategically counterproductive. What if staying calm, or maybe even provoking anger in others, is actually your biggest advantage?
It really is a counterintuitive thought for a lot of people, isn't it? But the sources we're looking at today, they explore how emotional control, or the lack of it, can just dramatically swing the balance of power. We'll look at some historical figures who totally mastered this and others who failed pretty spectacularly.
Right. So our mission today is to unpack Law 39, stir up waters to catch fish. We want to explore why keeping your cool can be like a superpower, and how maybe strategically agitating others can reveal their weaknesses, all while, respecting your time and giving you those aha moments. Okay, let's really get into this core idea then. Law 39 says anger and emotion are strategically counterproductive. Why is staying calm, staying objective, so crucial?
Well, the sources tell us that if you can make your enemies angry, right, while you yourself stay calm, you gain a really decided advantage. It's about putting opponents off balance. Sometimes by finding that little, chink in their vanity to rattle them.
There's a wonderful historical example that shows this so well. Kyoto Shoshida Itakura Suo no Kami Shigemune. He was a judge, apparently very fond of chanoyu, the Japanese tea ceremony.
Yeah, Shigemune would actually grind his own tea while sitting in court. It's quite a picture. He learned from a friend, apparently, that people were kind of afraid to bring lawsuits because he could get irritated, scold them if they didn't give clear evidence. So he had a tea mill placed right there before him, drew the shoji screens, and just ground tea. It was his way to keep his mind calm.
And what's fascinating here, isn't it, is that he used the tea itself to check his composure. He could tell if he was ruffled just by looking at it. It wouldn't grind evenly if he got, excited or agitated.
Exactly. And this allowed him to dispense justice impartially. People apparently left his court feeling satisfied. It's just such a vivid picture of using inner calm for external advantage.
Okay, so that's the ideal. Now here's where it gets really interesting, showing what happens when this law is transgressed, broken. We have that dramatic story of Napoleon and his foreign minister, Talleyrand.
Right. January 1809, Napoleon returns to Paris, pretty agitated. He's confirmed these rumors that Talleyrand had conspired against him with Fouché, the minister of police. So Napoleon summons his ministers, confronts Talleyrand directly. He's expecting, fear, maybe groveling.
But Talleyrand, it's such a striking detail. He just leaned on the mantelpiece, looking, they say, completely indifferent.
Yeah.
And when Napoleon announced dramatically, "For these ministers, treason has begun when they permit themselves to doubt," Talleyrand just smiled, calm and bored.
Yes, and that sight, that sheer lack of reaction, apparently pushed Napoleon right over the edge. He just exploded, screaming accusations, calling Talleyrand a coward, a man of no faith. Nothing but shit in a silk stocking, I think was the phrase recorded. The other ministers were just in disbelief. They'd never seen the conqueror of most of Europe, so totally unhinged.
Wow, and Talleyrand's response to that.
Oh, it's legendary. Calmly, he says something like, "Indeed, sire, it did not occur to me that this information had any bearing on your majesty's glory or my own." Just total composure. And after Napoleon's finished his tirade, Talleyrand turns to the other ministers who are probably, fearing for his life at this point.
Look at that.
And he famously says, "What a pity, gentlemen, that so great a man should have such bad manners."
Incredible. Just incredible composure.
It really is. And this event, this public outburst, it had profound consequences. Napoleon lost control, publicly. The sources suggest this was maybe the beginning of the end for him. It showed his frustration, his loss of power to actually shape events. Tantrums, as the sources point out, they don't intimidate, they don't inspire loyalty, they just create doubts, uneasiness about your power. It's like the helpless action of the child who resorts to a hysterical fit. That's the comparison made.
So what does this all mean for the idea of stirring the waters? It's even suggested, isn't it, that the conspiracy itself by Talleyrand and Fouché might have been a kind of ploy, like a device specifically to push Napoleon over the edge.
Exactly. They might have been deliberately stirring the waters to make him misstep, which he did, spectacularly.
Okay, so if Napoleon's outburst shows the danger of losing control, there's another fascinating example that reveals the strategic power of making others lose control. Let's look at Haile Selassie and his rise to power in Ethiopia.
Yeah, this is a great one. By the late 1920s, Haile Selassie was really solidifying his control. His main obstacle was the Empress, Zhou and her husband, Rus Gugsa. They hated and wanted him gone. So Selassie subtly removes Gugsa from the capital first, makes him governor of a northern province. Out of sight, seemingly.
But he knew Gugsa was plotting, right? So instead of just waiting.
Exactly. Instead of waiting, Selassie decided to, as the law suggests, draw Gugsa out, get under his skin, and push him into action before he was ready. That's the essence of stirring the waters, proactive provocation.
So how did he actually do that? How did he provoke him?
He ordered Gugsa to lead an army against the Ezebu-Galas, a rebellious northern tribe. Now, Gugsa had no grudge against the Ezebu-Galas, so this demand, it hurt his pride. It was designed to do that, to goad him into action, but importantly, on Selassie's terms, not his own.
Okay, so Gugsa, furious, starts spreading these rumors that Selassie was conspiring with the Pope, planning to convert the country.
Yes, he's seething. He secretly spreads these really ugly rumors. His army swells, and then he openly declares a holy war. But instead of marching north to fight the Ezebu-Galas like he was ordered, he marches south, towards the capital, Addis Ababa. He's taken the bait.
But it was a trap, wasn't it?
Completely. What Gugsa didn't see was that before even giving the order, Selassie had already done his homework. He'd secured the support of the Ethiopian church, crucially, and he'd bribed several of Gugsa's key allies not to actually show up for the battle.
Clever. So while Gugsa's marching...
Right. While his army marched, airplanes flew overhead. Not bombing, but dropping leaflets. These leaflets exposed his holy war as just a personal rebellion, a power grab. And that severely blunted the emotions, the fervor behind his crusade.
So the whole thing just fell apart.
Pretty much instantly. Gugsa's army collapsed. He was killed in the fighting, and the Empress died just a few days later. Maybe from shock, maybe something else, it's unclear. And Selassie then proclaimed himself emperor. Game over.
Wow. That really connects back to the core idea then.
Absolutely. When the waters are still, your opponents have the time and space to plot. So you need to stir the waters, force the fish to the surface, get them to act before they are ready, steal the initiative, and the best way, play on those uncontrollable emotions, pride, vanity, love, hate. The angrier they get, the less control they have, and then they're caught. It's exactly what Sun Tzu warned against. A sovereign should never launch an army out of anger. A leader should never start a war out of wrath. Don't let emotion dictate strategy.
So, okay, these are powerful historical examples, but what does this all mean for you listening right now? What are the key takeaways, the keys to power here?
Well, one of the big ones is realizing that angry people usually end up looking ridiculous. It feels counterintuitive, right? Their outburst seems like power.
Yeah, like they're dominant or something.
Exactly. But the truth is often the opposite. Petulance is not power. It is a sign of helplessness. That's a really key phrase.
Okay, so helplessness disguised as aggression. So the solution isn't just bottling it up, but changing our perspective. How does that work?
It starts by realizing that nothing in the social realm and in the game of power is personal, or at least it's rarely just personal. Your anger or someone else's outburst directed at you, it often comes from deeper stuff. Historical issues, their own insecurities, not just you in that moment. So if someone explodes at you, try not to think it's exclusively about you. Do not be so vain, as the source puts it rather bluntly.
Huh, okay, fair enough.
Instead, see their outburst as maybe a disguised power move, an attempt to control you or punish you. Reacting emotionally just plays into their hands. Like that fable of the ditch high priest reacting to insults just makes it worse.
That shift in perspective, yeah, that's incredibly powerful, isn't it? It lets you turn their loss of control to your advantage. You keep your head while they are losing theirs.
Precisely. And from that calm place, you have options, tactics. You can play with other people's emotional responses, like stir the insecure into action by impugning their manhood, or maybe dangling the prospect of an easy win, baiting them.
Right, like Houdini, letting his rival Clapini think he'd stolen the combination for a pair of cuffs, setting him up, or Sunpin, pretending to be weak by reducing the campfires each night, tricking the Wei general into that rash attack, right into an ambush.
Exactly. Feigned weakness, playing on their assumptions and emotions. Another powerful response, though, especially to a hot-headed enemy, is just no response. That's the Talleyrand tactic we saw. Nothing is as infuriating as a man who keeps his cool while others are losing theirs.
Yeah, that indifference.
Affecting that aristocratic, bored pose.
Yeah.
Not mocking, not triumphant, just indifferent. It drives them crazy. It lights their fuse.
And when they inevitably embarrass themselves with that tantrum, you've won several things without even fighting, really. Your dignity, your composure.
Yes. And you've shown their lack of control. It reminds me of Tao Tsao, Learning about his general's disloyalty during a key battle, instead of flying off the handle, he just ordered the incriminating papers burned, dealt with it later. He knew an angry reaction right then would kill morale and harm his strategic goals. Keep your head.
Okay, so stirring the waters, staying calm, powerful stuff. But are there times when this is a bad idea? Is there a downside?
Oh, absolutely. There's a crucial reversal or caveat here. When playing with people's emotions, you have to be careful. It's not foolproof.
You have to, what was it? Study the enemy beforehand? Some fish are best left at the bottom of the pond.
Precisely. Don't poke a sleeping bear, essentially. Take the city of Tyre and Alexander the Great. Tyre's leaders felt super confident, impossibly strong in their own minds. They'd already kind of baited Alexander by refusing him entry, then they refused his peace terms later. They were just arrogant.
And Alexander didn't take that well, did he?
Not at all. Their defiance enraged him so much that he remounted his assault so strenuously that he captured Tyre incredibly quickly. And the result, he burned it to the ground, sold people into slavery. Total destruction.
Wow. So the lesson there is?
If there's no obvious weakness, no gap. If they really are incredibly strong, you have nothing to gain, and potentially everything to lose by provoking them. Choose carefully whom you bait, and definitely never stir up the sharks.
Good advice. Okay, one last thing. What about your own anger? We talked about controlling it, but can it ever be useful strategically?
The sources do suggest that a well-timed burst of anger can do you good. B-U-T. And it's a big but.
It has to be fake.
Essentially, yes. Manufactured and under your control. It's theater, and it should be used rarely.
Why rarely?
To make it more intimidating and meaningful. If you have outbursts all the time, they just lose their power. People stop taking them seriously.
Great. Becomes noise.
Yeah.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what have we really learned from this deep dive into Law 39?
I think it's a really powerful reminder that control over your own emotions and understanding how to influence the emotions of others, that's a profound strategic advantage in almost any interaction.
Yeah, that calm, objective mind can spot the vulnerabilities, can strategically provoke people to show their hand and, come out ahead while keeping their dignity.
It really is about not taking things so personally, isn't it? And seeing the sort of deeper currents beneath those emotional reactions.
It truly is a shortcut to being well-informed, right? Getting these principles. So as you go about your day, think about this. How might understanding this law change how you react when you feel that frustration or see anger in others? And maybe, just maybe, how could it empower you to strategically influence situations where emotions tend to run high? Something to think about. Until next time, keep diving deep.